Hey guys, Yummy here again, and Battlefield 4 has come a very long way in its almost 2-year lifespan. If you remember how broken and terrible the game was at release, the game as we know now is absolutely phenomenal when compared to its release state. The game is almost 2 years old as Battlefield 3 was when Battlefield 4 came out, and we've come a very long way, but there are still some things wrong with the game that I still notice and still haven't been fixed. Some are being addressed in CTE, but most of them aren't, so I just wanted to talk about some of the things that I've noticed and which ones need to be fixed the most. Now, the first glitch I wanted to talk about is actually kind of a funny glitch and also really aggravating at the same time. It's the glitch where an enemy is stuck in crouched position and is floating around magically around the ground, and I like to call this anti-friction man. And the problem with this is even though the player model is in crouched position, if he's floating around the ground at running speed, his hitbox is actually a normal standing position. So if you're shooting at him what you think is his chest, you're actually only doing the damage done to a leg shot. And it's actually really aggravating also because a lot of times with the glitch, the game won't show the enemy as pointing at you, and bullets will be magically flying out of his shoulder or something, and you'll die. You think you have the jump on him, but then you end up dying anyway. So on top of being impossible to hit, it's impossible to tell if they're looking at you or not. And this glitch has been around since release and has been in like once every 3 games that I'm in, so I don't know what the problem is with the engine, why it keeps doing this, but it definitely needs to be fixed. A second problem I have with the game that may or may not be addressed in CTE is Stinger and Igla spam. Now, I love flying helicopters. You guys see me flying helicopters all the time in my gameplay, so that might make me biased against Stingers and Iglas, but the problem I have with it is how fast they can shoot them, how many missiles each individual infantryman gets. Now, I understand that a lot of times you're getting absolutely raped by air vehicles, and there's really no way to take them out, especially if you're really bad at the RPG or small, so you want to use a lock-on. It's understandable, but it can be way too easily just absolutely spammed and completely ruin the game for anyone who's just trying to have fun flying. Now, the way I think this issue should be addressed is by either reducing the number of missiles that you give a Stinger or Igla, or reducing the damage and how many times it freaking disables an air vehicle. Now, if you reduce the ammo, this definitely increases the dependence on other teammates who are also using lock-ons, and honestly, that is probably the best solution, because it seems like whenever I'm flying that there's this one guy who has like 8 Stingers and is constantly shooting them at me, especially because of how fast you can reload them. So I think this would be the best solution. Now, I have a huge problem with flashbangs currently in Battlefield 4. They're like the ultimate, most annoying thing ever to be in Battlefield 4. You know, they completely white out your screen. Even if friendlies flash you, that it completely whites it out for like 5 to 10 seconds. It takes forever for your screen to get unflashed, but I know that this is being addressed in CTE, so I won't really talk about it as much. And also there's the smoke and FLIR abuse. Now, it makes complete sense that you're using a smoke grenade and FLIR looks right through smoke, so it makes complete sense, but it's just completely overpowered, and it completely broke the game on Metro. It's just constant smoke and FLIR sniping through the smoke. It makes the map completely unfun, especially on 64-player. Now, the best solution for this is possibly to make flares way more effective than they currently are, to freaking blind the crap out of guys using FLIRs and IRN V-scopes. I think this would probably be the only way to fix this problem, other than severely limit the number of smoke grenades you get to maybe 1 or 2. A very major issue that appears over and over again in practically every single match I play is very strange hitboxes on basically anything. It could be rocks or trees, building, debris, And also whenever an enemy is climbing up a ladder and gets to the top, or is climbing out of the water or vaulting over something, hitboxes can be really, really strange. And the big problem with just natural objects like rocks, trees, or stuff like debris is your bullets will hit nothing. Like, you can be shooting through a very clear open gap through debris, but your bullet will collide with nothing and give up a puff of smoke, and the enemy you're shooting at will not get hit. And this is really annoying. I know it's very complex to make a hitbox for a ton of debris of a destroyed building or something, but it's just extremely aggravating. And also, just whenever a guy's climbing out of the water, this is really apparent on a naval strike map like Wavebreaker, where a lot of times you'll see an enemy climbing out of the water up onto the flat concrete platform that's raised up above it, and he'll freeze for a second and then suddenly zoom forward, and even though you were shooting at him and pumping through him full of lead, none of the bullets will hit, and a lot of times he'll turn around and kill you. So just some of those hitbox moments are really annoying and need to be addressed. Now we get to probably what is definitely the bane of my existence in Battlefield 4, and that is tree stumps. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the tree stumps are extremely annoying if you're ever on playing as an infantryman and you run into one. You get completely stuck on the top of the tree stump for some reason, and the only way to get off is to go back exactly the way you got onto it. And this happens all the time, and a lot of times the tree stumps are almost invisible because of surrounding foliage and such. So it just doesn't make sense, and it happens all the time, and it's gotten me killed countless times. It's so annoying just getting stuck on something stupid like that, but that's been in the game since release, and I've never understood why the glitch exists in the first place, and I've never understood why they haven't fixed it yet, because it seems a pretty easy fix for me, but it just happens way too often. Now, there are a last few things, like, for some reason, ever since launch, you have no sound at the start of every single match for about a minute. You're just driving around with absolutely no sound, and that glitch wasn't in Battlefield 3. I don't understand why it's in Battlefield 4, and they still haven't fixed it yet. And also the LAV getting stuck on literally everything. There needs to be a way to get the LAV off of stuck positions, like by knifing it or something like they created to get boats off of land. The LAV literally gets stuck on maps like Flood Zone constantly. It's really terrible, and it really hurts your team whenever such a valuable asset is taken out of the game. But anyway, those are just about all of the things that I've found that are still problems with Battlefield 4 that haven't been fixed yet. And some of them are being addressed in CTE, so it's not completely terrible, but some of these have never even been touched on, and I don't understand why. But if you guys have encountered any other problems that are persistent in the game, make sure you put it down in the comments section down below. And if you guys like this, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And until next time, this is Yummy. Goodbye, and good hunting.